Hey there. Thank you for being willing to serve on the First Impressions team. This is the first of four short videos and exercises that I will be putting out for you here as kind of an onboarding process to the First Impressions team. I want to equip you, I want to help you be ready to serve and just have everything you need so you don't feel like you have questions or anything like that. And anytime throughout the process, if you do have questions, please let me know. But I'm so excited that you have agreed to serve on the First Impressions team. This team here at Good News, it might seem like one that is very, it doesn't take a lot of your time or energy or anything like that, but it is truly one that makes a huge difference. And you're going to find out why here today. This is an amazing way to serve God and God's people here at Good News. And we just get to play a small role in God's overall mission of bringing people to Him. So thank you for being willing to serve, and let's jump right in. So I asked you to share about just a good first impression that you have had at a hotel or at a restaurant or at a store. And the reason why you do that is because I think we know that first impressions are really, really important. And odds are your first impression of this place was because someone cared about you. They didn't put rules above you. They didn't treat you like just a number or a thing. They treated you as a person, right? And they met you where you were. They helped you. They went above and beyond for you. And I also read you to read the two hypothetical stories that about Becky and her kids and her experience here at Good News. And I asked you to kind of respond as to what maybe her experience wasn't so great in the first part, and also was a lot better the second time, and how those small things that we can do as a team or just even as an attender of Good News can make a huge difference in someone receiving and being able to receive the gospel or not. We can't, of course, bring people to God ourselves by our own power, but we can do whatever we can to lead people to Christ. So hear these words from Greg Atkinson, who is kind of a giant when it comes to first impressions in churches. It says, imagine you're hosting a small group in your home. Imagine you're hosting a birthday party. Imagine you're having friends over for a meal. Can you picture it? When you have company over, what do? You clean your house. You prepare. You welcome your company with open arms and make sure they feel right at home. All of us need to have the mindset and expectation that company is coming. How we prepare for and welcome company or guests to our churches says a lot about how seriously we take the Great Commission, which is to make disciples of all nations. And so our mission here as a First Impressions team is to help outsiders become insiders. It's really quick, really simple, and it's just something that's it's memorable, right? But it points exactly to what we do. And we even break down to this like a sports team would do. So you're going to hear it often. But why do we do what we do? Here's the First Impressions team. That's kind of what this team's all about, what we just talked about, helping outsiders feel like insiders and preparing for guests who are going to come and be a part of our church. But why do we do this? And number one, it's because every week we have guests. Every Sunday is somebody's first Sunday. And if you've been around the church for a while, you maybe don't think about that. But all of you at one point were a first-time guest here or at another church, and you know how hard it is to really take that step to get to know people, to get to know a church, to even just step foot in the building is a really big deal. In 2022, we had over 46 families, couples, individuals that came for the first time and wanted to get connected here at Good News. That's a lot. That's, again, almost one every single week. And those are only the people that we knew about that were willing to fill out a connection card. There was probably double that or more that came for the first time and kind of fell through the cracks or didn't get to know us very well. So that's number one. There's always guests. That's why it's important for us to do what we do. Number two, it's a biblical mandate. We know that God commanded the Israelites in the Old Testaments to care for those who were on the outside, to care for those who were not Israelites. And we see in the New Testament in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2, do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have shown hospitalities to angels without knowing it. And we know that God's heart is to welcome the outsider. We were outsiders, and God welcomed us. He cared for us. He loved us before we even turned to Him, or before He, while we were still sinners, He died for us. And so we know that it is a biblical mandate to care for those who are on the outside. and maybe not a part of our family quite yet. Number 3, it's backed by research. One of the most kind of difficult statistics about this is that we know research has showed that people decide whether or not to come back to a church within the first 5 to 10 minutes of attending. And usually the first 5 to 10 minutes of someone's experience is getting out of the car, finding the front door, kind of getting your bearings, and sitting down. So those first 5 to 10 minutes are really, really crucial, and that is what we get to do. We get to have a great first impression in those 5 to 10 minutes. We get to love, care for people, show them the love that Christ has for us just in that time. Again, this is before preaching, announcements, any songs that are sang, before any of the service even starts, people are deciding whether or not they're coming back to church. So it's a crucial time. And number 4 is it's backed by our own experiences. Right. Again, I asked you to think of a time you had a good first impression, but I also bet you could remember a time you've had a really bad first impression. And so we know that a good first impression or a bad first impression is very memorable, and so we want people to have good first impressions. So thank you for listening to this first video. Thank you for participating in exercises of this first thing. What is first impressions and why do we do it? Hopefully you have a better understanding of what it is we do, but just always keep in mind our mission is to help outsiders become insiders.